Today I'm sitting here with Jennifer Vorhar from Hope and Healing Therapy and Wellness Center, and I'm just really excited to talk to you about what you guys do and what are some of the unique things that are happening here. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Sure. So just to get things started off, we're here on Moakley Street, so there's lots of different types of medical practitioners and therapists and counselors and things of that nature. So just in a quick nutshell, what does Hope and Healing do?
The anchor of the services that we provide are mental health services. So we have about 15 licensed mental health providers. We have counselors and social workers. But what we also provide is an opportunity for people to have exposure to services that treat the whole body. So we have not only specialty services within our mental health practice, but we also have massage therapy, aromatherapy, yoga services, and fitness services. We have recently added a pelvic floor therapist because we know that if we have someone coming in here to receive mental health services, there's very likely something else that may be impacting the way that they are emotionally feeling. So we also added nutrition and dietitian services as well because it's all connected. The brain and the heart and the gut, it's all connected. And we just want to make sure that we can provide as much under one roof as possible for people to be able to find that wellness that they're looking for.
That's incredible. Yeah, I think that a lot of times right now, or at least maybe in my own, bubble or echo chamber within social media, on my YouTube feeds anyway, a lot of people are talking about just natural remedies. They're talking about nutrition, the kinds of ways in which either things that you eat or how you sleep and whatnot all kind of affect your body. So the fact that you've got all those different things in one roof is, I would think, pretty unique to the area, but just more importantly, that's just covering this huge gaping hole in the medical field, I would think.
We have been very much welcomed into the community. It's kind of how we became what we are today. This was not the original vision. The original vision was me providing a service to the community. I saw there was a gap in needs, and it just evolved over time into us being able to offer something that is not available within our Tri-County area. We have collective places, other wellness centers that have many of the same modalities under one roof, but that mental health piece is the thing that's not within some of those other places. And our goal is to bring it all in one place. And it also helps to reduce the stigma around receiving mental health services, because here within our lobby, you don't know if someone's sitting here for a massage or a meeting with a nutritionist or waiting for a yoga class or mental health. You're just here to receive a service and to seek your own wellness and be on your own journey. Our hope is that it reduces that stigma around seeking mental health services to begin with.
Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that, but that totally makes sense. So I know that within mental health services in general, you've got folks who probably are going to get married, people who have gotten out of a marriage, are divorcing. Maybe there's children that you could treat. There's all different types of people who've experienced trauma in some way. And I know that in 2018, you started the practice to help folks who are basically suffering some sort of trauma. So with that being said, is there a particular demographic of folks that you're looking to treat?
We see the whole lifespan. We have kiddos as young as 4. We have a clinical play therapy room, which is unique in that it's not just a playroom. There's certain things that have to be in a clinical play therapy room in order to make it that. It's just very unique in that it provides an opportunity for the kids to engage in a way that doesn't necessarily use their words. So we start as young as 3 or 4, and then we actually serve the aging population as well. We have some connections with community partners that we go to them and provide services to that older population. I would say the majority of the work that we do is, teens and kind of up until that middle age, 40-ish. A lot of the work that we do is working with survivors of trauma, and that could be anything from our veterans who have been deployed and been in war zones. We look at working with first responders from dispatchers to police and everything in between, and also any other kind of trauma that impacts folks' lives. So I would say that the real focus is working with survivors of trauma, but within our practice, we have folks that have their own niche. We have a couple of couples therapists that they focus primarily working with premarital counseling and marital counseling, and we have some that work with families. We have some that work primarily with children or primarily with teenagers. We have a couple of therapists that do really great work with anxiety and depression disorders. As a whole, I think we're looking at what are the things that happen in our life that impact our life in a way that we find ourselves struggling, some kind of trauma, and from all those age ranges. And it's really important, I believe, that you're able to work with a therapist who is specialized in what you need. In the same way that if I have a cold, I'll go to my general practitioner, but if I'm having a heart problem, I go to a cardiologist. I think it's important that if we have a specific mental health need, that we're able to engage with a therapist that has that specific training.
Sure. I suppose as well, while at the same time you guys are specialists, you guys are also kind of like cross-training. You had mentioned earlier how your nutritionist is going to be talking to all of your counselors about how the gut and the food that we eat affect affects the rest of our health. So I think that's really neat that you have some of that collaboration happening, among the different disciplines too, so that while you get an expert, you've also got somebody who knows enough in these other disciplines to be able to make referrals or things of that nature, I would think.
The collaboration is really the goal, and it's new. I would say it's kind of in its baby steps with regards to how we're doing that collaboration, but that really is the goal. When we look at, let's say, someone who has experienced some kind of trauma against their body, they are not very likely to go to a massage therapist because they're not connected with their body, and having that experience of going into a massage room and making yourself vulnerable in that way can be very difficult. So being able to collaborate with our massage therapist and help them to understand where that person is in their own healing journey can be very helpful, because maybe the lights stay on. Maybe there's a seated massage instead of a laying massage, and it helps that person to slowly grow into that opportunity to really connect with their body. And the collaboration, I think, is really the ultimate goal, because we are not all experts in everything. And I can take all the trainings in the world, but that doesn't make me an expert. And having our nutritionist, for example, on staff, she can give us nuggets of information so that we can help our clients, but having her available to then say, you know what, there's a little more that I want you to dive into. Let me connect you with her. It's really important that we're looking at the whole body when we're looking at healing and wellness.
100%. There's lots of different doctors. There's lots of different ways to go about doing a medical practice. What's the one thing that you think sets you guys apart the most in respect to how you guys treat your clients or how you guys go about your business?
I would say that for me, this is not a business for the sole purpose of a business. The reason why I opened the practice originally was because our community had a need. And I have made it my goal from the very beginning to always return every phone call and to always respond to every email inquiry. Because when someone finds the power within them to make that first call, we have to respond to that, or it's a missed opportunity and they may never call someone again. And so even if I cannot provide a service to that person, whatever it is that they might be looking for, having a conversation with our intake folks, getting information about what services are available, whether it's within our practice or whether it's within our community, I want people to take something away from their engagement with us, a nugget of information. I want them to take that with them so they feel like they've received something. It may not be a phone call back that same day, but I can guarantee that they're going to receive that phone call back. They're going to receive that response, because it's really important that we have that touch point with our community.
Yeah, it takes a lot of vulnerability just to make that phone call, a lot of self-reflection, and that's great that you guys are providing that. Just answering the phone and being available and having folks just know that you're going to be there one way or the other for them, I think that makes a big difference.
I can't tell you how many times we've spoken to people on the phone and they say, thank you for answering the phone. Thank you for calling me back. I've called so many places and you're the first person I've spoken to. We can just hear the relief just knowing that they've had that touch point, and we can provide them with a little bit of information and referral. Some people don't even know where to start, and we can at least guide them, even if that means they don't become our client. We want to make sure that we're serving the community even in that small way.
I think that when people are considering whether or not they want to get treated medically, they're wondering, well, what's the cost? How am I going to pay for this? Do most of your clients, are they paying with insurance? Are they paying cash? Are they financing things?
You're right. It's a financial burden for some people to seek medical care of any kind. We accept Blue Cross and Care First insurance, which is one of the biggest insurance providers here within our area. We also accept TRICARE, which serves our military servicemen and women, dependents and retirees and veterans. And then we also have the self-pay option. We do know that some insurances, folks have out-of-network benefits. So if it's one of those insurances that we are not currently in network with, they can pay the upfront cost for the service, fill out the paperwork necessary, and then be reimbursed. I've actually seen providers myself that I've had to do that. And once you figure out the system, it's not too difficult with your insurance company, but we want to make sure that we're providing those options and slowly looking at what other insurances we want to partner with to be able to provide services. Unfortunately, sometimes there is a barrier when you're working with insurance companies, but we also know that it's a barrier to not be working with insurance companies for our clients.
So when you look at the next 3 to 5 years for Hope and Healing, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to continuing to have the relationships with the community that we do. It truly is an honor to serve our community. One of the big populations that we serve, not only as we accept TRICARE, so we're serving our servicemen and women, their families, but we're also serving a lot of first responders. And I know that that's a huge need within our area, and being able to tap into that community is really important. So I look forward to being able to continue to do that. I have a couple of images of what our own building building might look like. You sign a lease for a short period of time, and of course you have to look forward to what the future might be. I look forward to other partnerships with other providers in our area who have other specialties that might be able to bring either their service into our center or for us to partner with them out in the community so that we can really not only be a part of the mental health component of people's wellness, but also the other pieces of wellness to be able to meet that whole body need that many people have but don't know where to seek those services.
Very cool.
I think from general perspective, a lot of people think, and this kind of goes back to the stigma around mental health services, a lot of people think, well, there's nothing, quote, wrong with me, or it's not that big of a deal, or, many other things go through people's minds when they think about what they're experiencing and what kind of service they might need. And I want people to think about mental health services in the same way that you would think about primary care services. I'll use an automobile analogy, right? We drive our cars and we are changing spark plugs and adding fluids and putting gas in it and changing the oil, and we're doing all of these things to make sure that it's running properly. Our body, from the top of our head to the tip of our toes, is a machine that runs in that same way. And we have to make sure that we're addressing the mind, the heart, the body, the gut, all of those systems that work together. And if you are a client of mine or a staff person of mine, you will hear me say, you are not broken and you do not need to be fixed. People are not small appliances that need, a broken screw replaced or something like that. We experience life and we have wounds that develop, and there are folks like my staff that are here to help people heal from the wounds that life brings our way. Sometimes the cards that get thrown to us are not what we expect, and we just need a little extra help and support in order to figure out how to play those cards. And I just want people to realize that seeking mental health services or any kind of a wellness service is not a symbol of being broken or that you're not strong enough. The strongest people I know are the ones that walk through those doors to seek services and pick up that phone to make that call. And I just really want the community to know that this is a judgment-free zone. Whatever you bring here, I know that sounds a little bit like a cliche, but whatever you bring here to us, we're going to figure it out. I joke that the reason why we have area rugs in our offices is because you're going to dump it all out and we're going to throw under the rug what we don't need to work with, and we're going to work with what really you need to take away. My ultimate dream would be that nobody thinks twice about seeking mental health services. Nobody thinks twice about taking care of their mind and of their body and of their whole person. It's just something that we do. And, you asked me 3 to 5 years. I think we need a little bit longer a time period to meet that goal, but that would be my ultimate goal, is that people don't even think twice about seeking the services and extra support that they need to live their very best life.
Well, I'm sure that there's probably quite a few clients that you already have that don't think twice about getting mental health services. And it's not so much about whether or not that happens, it's basically increasing the number of people that have that same reaction, because that's a great goal. I love also the idea or the analogy of a car, because people who really care about the car don't bring the car to the mechanic when it's broken. They bring their car when it needs just simple maintenance. And when they want it to be a high-performing car, they bring it to the mechanic just to be fine-tuned. So if you want a high-performing car, you're going to bring it to the mechanic as often as you possibly can. And you said the strongest people are coming here to receive some sort of treatment for one thing or another. And that's because, the fastest cars are going to be in the mechanic shop the most. And that makes a lot of sense, at least to me. For those who want to know a little bit more about either the different services that you offer, the folks that are here, where can they go to learn more?
Our website is hopehealingtherapy.com. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. And we not only share about the services that we offer, but we also try to share just free content. So even if you just want to follow along to what we're sharing, we put nuggets of information out there. Some of it might be relevant for folks, some of it might not be relevant, but at some point I hope that everyone can take just a little nugget of information. And if folks go to our website through the contact page, they can ask to be added to our newsletter. We send out 2 newsletters a month. One of them is more mental health related, and the second one incorporates the rest of our wellness services in it. We offer blogs and free recipes and fun activities to do with your kids that you might kind of thinking outside of the box. Lots of free content for people that hopefully will add value to their life.
Awesome. Thanks again, Jennifer. Appreciate you taking us through.
Thank you.